What is going on, YouTube? PPS back. It is Monday. It is going to be a multi-show, multi-sport spot here today, talking college football, national championship, talking about some NBA plays tonight. Joining us always by my guy, Stu. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing pretty good. We had an interesting week of NFL props. Some of those games were crazy. The Texans, obviously, ruining the tank. Shout out to Lovie Smith for that goodbye. I feel like he knew he was on his way out, and he was like, "We're gonna win this game." Let's let Davis Mills have another season. So it was some good football on this week. Now we've obviously got the CFB National Championship game tonight, which we're going to be talking about. And then, hey, it's also a pretty good NBA slate tonight as well. I think some people are maybe sleeping on it a little bit. Spending more of their energy over in CFB. But we got a great slate tonight, so I can't complain, man. Plenty of great sports to bet on.
Yeah, only a 6-game slate, so we're a little bit shorter than usual, which is probably why people are kind of heading away from it today. But still some good spots, some good games, some fast-paced games. Spots, obviously, we can exploit, hopefully, on the prop side. But yeah, talking about the NFL, obviously, playoffs coming next week. We got the 6 games next week. I really don't know why we're doing a Monday. Why are you doing a Monday Night Football game? Like what? I don't get that one. Obviously, I think the Cowboys are the Monday Night Football game. That's just weird, dude. Do you not see where I'm coming from on that?
It's weird, but hey, another day of football content, that'll get me paid a little bit. Shout out to, whoever, who you are, I'll be writing up some Monday Night Football articles, stuff like that. So I can't complain, another day of football coverage, another day where I have something to look forward to at the end of the day. So I get what you mean. It's a little bit odd, but I would love to watch the Cowboys lose in prime time. So I'm looking forward to it, honestly. We sent them home this week, baby.
Yeah, no, it's weird. It's just weird because like, what if they have to play Saturday next week? Like, that's just such a disadvantage to whoever wins that game, and it's weird. Like, maybe if it's like a play-in wild card game or something, like the 2 low seeds, but like, I don't see how you can do that to a team, that's in the playoffs. Give them only 5 days of rest on that one.
Yeah, I can see that being a little weird, but I think they'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's weird. It's just weird. And yeah, I'll give a shout out to the Packers. I was at the game obviously last night. Fucking cold, bro. It was cold, man. It was freezing. But dude, we didn't deserve to win. That's the thing is you got to look at it as what would have happened next week. We're going to San Francisco. Come on now. Like I got enough common sense to know what would probably be happening in that game. Lions outplayed them. And the one thing I did have the Jamal Williams post here, so that was obviously nice on the stream. But he was an old Packer, dude. Like I would rather go out on a guy like that. He scores 2 touchdowns. He was a well-loved dude out in like everybody was cheering for him. Everybody was booing everybody else. When Jamal Williams came out, it almost like stopped, which was weird. It was just like a weird vibe when he came out because like you can't really not like the guy. So the only guy I know who doesn't like Jamal Williams is DeAndre Swift. That was fucking, dude. It's bad, dude. I would be very surprised to see DeAndre Swift in a Lions uniform next year. If I'm him, I'm demanding a trade because that dude, he was motherfucking the guys out on the sideline because that play he got and got hurt, and he's like, no, I'm good. He ran out there, came back over, and he's like, put me back in the game, and they just kept giving Jamal the ball on the 1, and so like. We saw him on the sideline. He was like screaming at the coach to put him back in. Yeah, it was wild. They didn't obviously put that on TV or anything, but Swift was, and then he took his helmet and threw it out on the side. So wouldn't mind to have him because actually I don't even think it would matter. I can't deal with incompetent coaching. It just really bothers me. Like why is Aaron Jones not playing, bro? Like this dude is so damn good. I bring it up every single time we talk Packers, dude, and we don't want to get too far into it, but A.J. Dillon should play inside the 5-yard line in anything under 3 yards. No other time that man should be playing football over Aaron Jones is just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But
yeah, I mean, having those backs allows you to do so much creative stuff. But like you said, it feels like they don't use it at all, right? I mean, this guy loves just watching A.J. Dillon run for 3 yards. And you don't have to complain about incompetent coaching, right? I watched Ron Rivera send Brian Robinson on 1st and 10 for 2 to 3 yards pretty much every drive of every game. So I feel your pain right there. I see Chris saying he likes that Niners -10. I feel the same way, man. I'm kind of hoping they drop some props before it gets any worse because I just want want to pair the money line with a bunch of stuff. I mean, they're going to crush him. I feel bad for Gino. It's a great season. Pete Carroll, by the way, deserves some more recognition. Why is he not in the coach of the year conversation? That doesn't make any sense. They had a 4-win total. They had a terrible team. Name players on the Seahawks. If you're watching right now and you can name more than 6 players on the Seahawks, then you're probably like a top tier NFL fan right now. The only reason we can do that is because we have to watch them play every week. Like, Pete Carroll got these guys ready to fight every single week and got him in the fucking playoffs with Geno Smith. So shout out Pete Carroll. He's not getting any love, but he definitely deserves it.
I won't be the guy to give him any love. I'm not a big Pete Carroll guy myself.
I'm not either.
Put on the back of Goat Gino. That's who gets the praise is Goat Gino. I'm not gonna lie, his pass to Tyler Lockett was absolutely disgusting. It was right there. It was wild though. We were walking in to Lambeau. It was like a mile walk from where we parked. And this was right when that game was finishing up when Myers missed that field goal. It was wild there. All those there was a lot of Lions fans there yesterday. So it was cool. Obviously I go to quite a few games, but still a win and get in is so a cool one. Obviously, not going to get into all that shit with Rodgers and crap. So, yeah, we'll talk NFL obviously on Friday. A little bit more action there. Yes, Jason. Yeah, dude is money. Dude is money. He's absolute beast. Chris, since he said that, I'm guessing you Googled probably 3 of those last guys, at least. So I know Woolen or whatever his name, however you say it, will probably be in the talks for defensive rookie of the year. But obviously, I think Sauce probably has that locked up. He looked even yesterday, dude. That was the worst. That might have been the worst game of football. And like I'm complaining about coaching. LaFleur was shit yesterday, but oh my god, dude, Robert Saleh should not be. Dude, he's a defensive coordinator at best, bro. He can't do anything offensively. That was the worst thing I've ever watched, ever. Joe Flacco didn't even play bad. Like he actually played well. What is the concept of running Bam Knight into the back of your center with third string linemen 20 times? It was stupid, dude. Dude, he should be freaking cut and put as a defensive coordinator again because he can't do anything else.
Yeah, Saleh might be like a top tier defensive, like he might be the best defensive coordinator in the league if he just sticks to that. But not only that, like the game plan was brutal right there. Like you said, they were down 3 starting offensive linemen and they ran their undrafted rookie free agent 20, whatever. Like it was just terrible. Why not just let Joe Flacco check it down 20 times like you did in the beginning of the season? That would have worked better. And then it's kind of funny. I mean, even these challenges from both Miami and the Jets, I don't know if you watch either of those guys. Shanahan,
I watched the game on my drive.
Yeah. Shanahan obviously mentored some really smart coordinators, but these guys have no clue what they're doing. Both McDaniel and Saleh. If you look at their challenges this season, just their in-game, their timeout usage. I mean, Saleh a couple weeks ago probably should have just been fired for his timeout usage. I forget who it was, but it was atrocious. So I like Saleh. I like those guys. They're obviously great at their craft, but when you ask them to do a little bit more, when you ask them to control the game, just brutal stuff.
Yeah, no, it was. I think I was talking to a couple Jets fans in one of my chats, and I'm like, bro, how do you watch this shit? Like, I get pissed at LaFleur all the time for his incompetence, but my God, dude, the full game of that, like, I couldn't. Yeah. Oh, my God, dude. Like, Joe Flacco was actually moving in the pocket, putting balls. He was throwing into bracket coverage, and Garrett Wilson was still catching the ball, dude. Like, how do you keep running? It just didn't make any sense. And then obviously to lose on a horse collar tackle, like it's just like it's just stupid, bro.
Yeah, no, the final thing I'll say before we move on is, it was an interesting week, but I think it's got to be a crazy week when a playoff must-win game is so boring that I switched to go over and see if the Texans were going to get the first pick or not. Like, that's how boring that game was. Where it's like, fuck it, let's watch the Texans-Colts and then tune in with 2 minutes left. So it was an interesting Sunday. But, hey, we've got playoffs to look forward to now, and, we got some playoffs of our own to talk about in just a second.
Sounds good. Yeah, let's take a quick left turn, or not real full left turn, a little sideways spin here to some college football. Obviously, the national championship is tonight. TCU going to be or trying to be the biggest dog ever. They're the biggest dog ever in playoff history, but they're also the longest odds to ever win if they do take care of business tonight. I think they were like 100-1. On some books, they were like 500-1. It was nuts as an unranked team coming into this to this season. 13.5-point dogs tonight. I know you looked at it. I know you were on a show earlier. We got a couple spots that we were looking at. You actually have an official play here. I have a spot that I'll be playing. I'm not going to be official for the show. I'll have 2 NBA spots, but talk me through this one here.
Yeah, man. I mean, this should be a good matchup right here. I mean, a lot of people are kind of ruling off TCU, and then now actually we're seeing the public kind of hammer TCU. I don't know if you trust those kind of Action Network split stuff like that, but a lot of these places are actually showing us that TCU's taken like 70% of the spread and stuff like that. People obviously think they're going to keep it close. So I don't know if I believe in that. I'm not taking a stand on the spread personally. I mean, I think TCU has enough fight in them to keep it close, but it really depends on, is Georgia going to make mistakes? The way TCU stays in these games is they just force other teams to beat themselves. Georgia is a good team. They're just a better team, flat out. Pretty much every position, they're a better team. But, TCU's kind of got that magic to them. And if you can keep forcing teams to make these mistakes, if Stetson Bennett turns the ball over a couple of times, then suddenly TCU is very live to win this game. I obviously love Duggan. A shout out to everything he's done this year, being benched before the season started. You can tell this guy he wants it. He wants it more than anyone else out there. And, that you can't really measure that into metrics. But I think TCU puts up a good fight right here. So no strong take on the spread. At least I think Georgia probably wins. I'm not going to be putting in any TCU long shot tickets, but I think it's probably I think the total's pretty fair. I would lean over. I think slightly. We saw Georgia's pass defense can get beat. We've seen that a couple times so far this season, and that's exactly what TCU is going to try to take advantage of. So if you're not a college football fan, if you're just coming in for NBA and stuff like that, or you're even an NFL guy, there's going to be tons of guys in this game that are going to be in the NFL next year. I mean, if you're a Ravens fan right now, I would just be watching Quentin Johnson. That's probably your first round pick at, 15, 16, 17 or whatever. And I guess they might have to trade up for him, but that's one of the best wide receivers in the class. He's going to be matching up against Georgia cornerback Ringo. I think Keeley, something like that, who's going to be going in the first round as well. Carter on the defensive line. Just so many talented guys in this game. So you'll have something to watch out for, whether you're a college football fan or not.
Yeah, I know Georgia lost a safety, and since they lost him, the starting safety, he was a stud. Since they lost him, their defense has kind of gone to shit. These last 2 weeks have been absolutely shredded.
Yeah,
I like a lot of TCU props in terms of they should be able to move the ball on these guys. It's just the injury to Condre Miller really bothers me. That you have to run the ball early, and that's usually what TCU does to open up everything. And obviously Duggan can run a little bit there, but I really hope that he plays, or at least as a decoy if he is out there. DeMercado is just as good, honestly, in terms of in between the tackles running. He's just not as explosive as Condre Miller. So I think that's a big injury. I know he'll probably say he's playing, and I don't know how I'm going to approach that. But yeah, I want TCU to win real bad here. I backed a lot of Quentin Johnston so far this year, and I would love the Cinderella story, even though I guess they don't like hearing that, even though I'm like, what does it matter? Playing at underdog odds, is more fun, because you get to really have nothing to lose. They're going in there, they're playing against Goliath, and I think they have a chance. I do.
Yeah.
After watching them get absolutely shredded defensively these last 2 weeks, they're not anywhere close to last year's defense.
Let's put it like this. I'd rather bet TCU plus 13.5 than Seattle plus 10 this week. 100%, not even close. I think they are live dogs. I think they keep it close. It's just, I think Georgia will be able to just not make enough mistakes. I mean, Stetson Bennett's 33 years old. He's got a mortgage, 14 kids, granddaughters. He's been out here for a while. I think he'll just kind of control the pace of this game. He's not the type of guy that, he gets stars in his eyes and thinks he can make a huge play and change the game. He knows what he is. He's a game manager, and I think he'll manage the game pretty well. And unfortunately for TCU, I think that's really all they need to do in this game. I think they need to manage the game, control the clock, let their offense slowly move down the field. Because let's be honest, if you watch TCU this season, they can't really stop anybody. They had that one real good game against Texas. I'm not sure where that came from. It took everything in them. They stopped Robinson, and then they've just been kind of rough every single week besides that. So it's one of those situations where I'm rooting for TCU just like you, but it'll take some pretty crazy stuff for that to actually happen. But I think we get a close game no matter what.
Yeah, I hope TCU kind of tries to turn this into a shootout, because I really think that's the only way that this goes their way. If it's a slow, methodical one, I don't think that's going to really favor them at all. Since we kind of been talking about this one, I'll let you take your official play here, and then I'll kind of drop an unofficial one here. on the show. But I'll kick it over to you. Talk about one spot for today.
Yep. I'm going over to Georgia receiver AD Mitchell over here. 43.5 is the current best line. I got this one at 42. There's even some 41s up earlier today, but I don't like to use like Unibet lines, Barstool, those kind of places. We like to use the DraftKings of the world. So 43 is the best number right now, and I still think that's pretty good value in this game. This is a guy that came into the season with a lot of hype. He had a good first game against Oregon, which is obviously a huge matchup where they ended up just destroying them, but he grabbed over 6 yards in that game and then got injured the next game. So we haven't seen him since. He finally came back. He ran like a couple routes in that LSU game, but he was really just a distraction. He wasn't ready at all. Then he finally looked good last week. He led the team in both targets and snaps for all the wide receivers, which was very good to see. The snaps is the most important thing. And I'm kind of thinking this kind of reminds me a little bit. I don't know if you were on the Pickens train last season with Georgia in the playoffs. It kind of reminds me of that same situation where we're getting a line that's probably 10 yards lower than it should be, but nobody really remembers this guy. He hasn't impressed them recently. It's kind of a what have you done for me, recently kind of thing. And he's done nothing really besides that last game-winning touchdown. So I think a lot of people are kind of sleeping on him. I think that's depreciating the number. But in reality, this is a number one wide receiver on a team that's very, very good, has an outstanding offensive line. And whether you like it or not, they're going to be passing the ball in this game. They're not just going to be able to run all game. I don't know why people are thinking that. If you had to pick one unit, the TCU rush defense is better than the pass defense. I think that's pretty clear in this matchup right here. Not to say they're going to be able to slow them down much, but I just think Mitchell will be really involved. Additionally, their wide receiver 2 has been dealing with some injury stuff, didn't record anything in that last matchup there. So I just think it'll be the Mitchell show. Obviously, Brock Bowers is the guy everyone likes to talk about. Speaking of future NFL tight ends, this guy could be a tight end going in the first 15 picks. He's that kind of prospect. Not coming out this year, I believe, has another year he has to play. But all the attention in the world is going to be slowing on Bowers, right? He's kind of the big name on this team. He's getting a lot of attention. I think that's just going to open up some opportunity for Mitchell, who gets a lot of targets downfield. When we look at last season, 15.1 yards per reception. The downfield usage was there, and that was only his rookie season, right? He got a 40-yard touchdown in the playoffs last year against Alabama as well when they were surrounded by great wide receivers. So this is a guy that isn't scared of the big moment. I think he comes in and has a good game right here. And like I said, I think TCU keeps this close. I don't think they're just going to be running all game. I think they're going to have to pass throughout this game. And I think even though I think he could get this in the first half, I would not be surprised if this came down to the wire.
Love it. And I have a unofficial one. I'm not going to obviously post it on here because I have 2 NBA plays, but I'm going to be back in the Duggan train here, taking his rushing TD. I think it's like plus 130 on DraftKings right now.
Yep.
Obviously, the Condre Miller injury is one thing I didn't like for backing the spread, right? But I think Duggan's got an opportunity to run those shorter ones in now that you really only have DeMercado in there that's willing to take the punishment. Duggan I don't know how he finds a way to just not get hit hard, but he just finds a way to get these running plays and just not get hit hard like ever. So I'll be back in Duggan. I think it's like plus 130 on DraftKings right now for a rushing TD.
I like the spot a lot. I sprinkled this one as well. And what I did too is on my FTN prize pick show, which I released yesterday with my guy Walt over at FTN. We both played the 2 passing plus rushing. So it's just an even 2. You get the push there. But I think that was probably my favorite play on the board by far. It's since moved up to 2.5 after we did that show, unfortunately. But I completely agree. I think the rushing upside is so good. Duggan, at the end of the day, he's the guy he trusts himself to make that play. If he sees nobody on that first read on those RPOs, he's taking it himself. And like you said, Miller's been so good for them. He's been a touchdown machine so far this season. I mean, this guy is great in the red zone. Taking him out of that equation or even having him at 70% just opens up so much more opportunity for Duggan to get the job done. So tons of great stuff in this one. I'm with you on that. And yeah, do you have any like first touchdown, anything you're looking at there, or you haven't really gotten to those depths yet?
I haven't dug down there, dude. I have not dug down into the depths of the crazy. I don't even do that even in NFL for the first touchdown stuff. So
you know what? I think I'm going to do both quarterbacks. I think I'm going to do Stenson Bennett on the other end. I know people probably won't love that. He's not the most mobile guy in the world, but this is the playoffs. The quarterback's going to put their body on the line. And if you've been watching the NFL the last 5 weeks, teams run about 5 quarterback sneaks a game now. I mean, nobody knows how to stop this. They're just putting linemen behind the quarterback and having them push them in. And it doesn't seem like anyone can figure it out. So for first TD, I think maybe I'm going to sprinkle on both of those, first touchdowns right there. Get a little crazy.
I love it. Yeah, like I said, plus money on a spot like that. Definitely is a spot I want to be on. Jason talking about how it's plus 120 on DraftKings. I'd love to see it. That's where I was looking for that one as well. I didn't see it at better odds anywhere else for specifically a rush touchdown. Dan bringing up the second half being the highest scoring half at plus money. See, I don't dig down into all these. Like, I like with all the NBA and stuff, like for me to look through a full game on all this, like way depths of all these things. Like you could probably find like what color cleats are some of these guys going to wear if you really wanted to, you know? So I'm not usually into those. I don't know if you have any of those crazy.
You know, I don't, but the one that Garth shared right above him right there, TCU first timeout. I like this, okay? I mean, second half scoring is a little degen. This is jumping all the way in, but it sounds like you've got, you know, a reason behind it. I'm sure this is an offshore only, right? No way.
I can't imagine this is on a DraftKings.
Yeah, this has got to be a Bovada special right there. But I might have to dust off the old Bovada account just to sprinkle on this one with you as well. Because, I mean, honestly, it kind of makes sense. You know, Georgia, very disciplined team out there. Why not, honestly? But yeah, no, I haven't really dove into any of that kind of crazy stuff besides just a little first touchdown here and there. But yeah, hey, I mean, if you have a reason, I'm down for it. It's a championship game. You can have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, the only time I dig like that is Super Bowl Sunday when I'm betting like 19 different things in that game. So, yeah, we will. We got all that out of the way. We can head on over to some NBA today. Only a 6-game slate. Like I said, we've been blessed with these double-digit slate games, and we knew it was coming. We knew one of these shows was going to have one of these lower ones. But obviously, some pretty good games still. Obviously not the massive totals that we've been seeing in some of these games. I think the highest one is a 239, but this slate is across the board pretty high, right? We have 235, 235 and a half, 237, 238, and the lowest one is probably the best overall game in the Bucks and the Knicks. So across the board, this is a pretty loaded 6-game slate. Is there any game that's sticking out to you in this matchup? Obviously, we're not talking Wizards. I won't talk Bucks.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think for me, it's probably got to be that Chicago and Celtics game. I want to see kind of how the Celtics operate in this one without Marcus Smart. Bulls, you know, they've been playing solid. They've showed some upside at times, and I think this could be one of those games where they give them a real good fight right here. So I kind of want to see how the Celtics adjust, but I think that'll be a pretty good brawl right there.
Yeah, no, and obviously if we're going to like our full-on degen, you know we're going to probably talk about Sacramento and Orlando. Yeah. You know how we are on this show wanting to watch some real shitty basketball. Hey, but it's fast-paced, so it definitely makes the show. 236 and a half total there. But obviously the Bucks game is probably the best one on the slate. Knicks, Bucks. It's I always love seeing the Bucks travel to New York. And you know they're going to come out to play. I know Chris Middleton officially is out again, so should see some massive numbers by a few of these guys.
100%. Yeah, I saved the Kings Magic. I figured that's what you were going for right there, but we talk about it all the time. That's fun right there. That's talk about a late night hammer. I could have like 8 bets on that game if I wanted to. That's some fun right there.
No, for sure. There's just so many. There's so many like moving parts on Orlando right now that you can find some crazy value in a lot of their games. Like, I saw Jay talking about Fultz RA. I took Fultz RA and he absolutely nuked it. He beat it by like 5. And then the next game he plays like 26 minutes and gets 3. So it's like there's so much value, but the value is based off of the like low probability of stuff happening. Like there's so many weird things that happen in this Magic rotation. Now the suspensions are starting to finish up. So it's like, you don't even know where you are with half these guys. Like, the minutes are crazy. You have like 4 dudes who play the same position and they all do the same exact thing. Like Jalen Suggs, Anthony, and Fultz. Like, how do you pick one if you're going for one? You know, like they're all pretty much out there to do the same thing. Same thing. You got Bull, you got Mo Bamba, you got Wendell Carter, all pretty much playing the same position, able to shoot from the outside. Like the only guy I feel like is completely usage proof is Banchero, and then maybe Wagner, maybe.
Yeah, no, that annoying point guard. I mean, just faults like he could start out 0 for 3 and Cole Anthony suddenly plays 33 minutes. Like, and you're just done. It's nothing you can really do. And that doesn't take away from the fact that it's a great matchup for Fultz. Like, this should be a great spot for him. But when you're betting him, you'll always have that kind of pit in the bottom of your stomach. You'll know like he could just be done at kind of any moment. And now Suggs is back too. That adds obviously another element. The only good thing, I guess, is if you're betting other guys, most of those guys are pass first. Specifically, Fultz and Suggs are very heavily pass first. Anthony, when he sees it go in, he'll let a couple fly, but he's also a pretty fast first guy at times. So that's the only positive, I guess, silver lining right there. But I agree with you. It's a little frustrating.
Yeah, for sure. And this is going to be tough because I'm going to be going to the Boston Celtics game that we talked about a little bit here. And there's not much in terms of like right up on this one, but this number is too low right here. Derek White, 13.5 is his points rebound spot, -110. That is on DraftKings. We're just going to look at the games that Marcus Smart has missed this year because I think that's the biggest piece of this. Obviously, you're going to have Brogdon and White kind of fighting for that usage now as that spot. But Derek White's going to get the start, right? You're going to see some minutes from, obviously, Brogdon has been really efficient in his minutes. But Derek White so far this year in the 4 games that Marcus Smart has missed is averaging 11.8, 4 and 4. Obviously, that's higher than his season-long average, which he's sitting around 10 points and then 3 assists, 3 rebounds. I just like the minutes. Honestly, it's really going to be the minutes. That's really going to be where I'm going to be going here. He had a double-double earlier this year against Atlanta with 16, 5, and 10 in a 31-minute span. 26 points in a game this year without Marcus Smart as well. I think they're going to need the outside shooting in this one to match up with the Bulls. And what better matchup, right? Like, what better matchup could you have for a guy who shoots a ton of threes than the Chicago Bulls team? They've given up the second most threes in the NBA and the second highest percentage of threes in the NBA. I think this could be, like I said, this could be easily a first quarter cash if Derek White gets 3 shots up from the outside. Like, then you just see him go back, get those steals. He's obviously a very good defensive player. Same thing with Brogdon. Obviously, that can lead to transition layups, getting transition assists. There's just so many things here. Pace is going to be higher for them when they're facing the Bulls. Caruso, we don't know what's up with him. You know, there's just so many moving pieces here that Derek White's going to have to play, I'm going to say 30 minutes, as long as he doesn't get in foul trouble. And I think that we could obviously see him obviously clear this in just points alone. We've seen it happen twice so far this year in 4 matchups without Marcus Smart on the court. And obviously just throw the rebounds in there. I was really surprised to see that he was actually grabbing. He had a 5 rebound game in their last one in 30 minutes, right? He's had a 7 rebound game. Probably going to see 3 of them. 3. Hopefully he gets more than anything over 3. I'm going to be counting as gravy here. But I'm going to take Derek White over 13.5 points, rebounds, DraftKings line -110.
Yeah, no, I like this spot. I mean, too, even if you look at a guy like Caruso, if he ends up suiting up in this one, right, he's not going to be on White. I mean, this is a team, right, with Jason Tatum. We got Jaylen Brown, who's in a similar size range. Derek White is not the priority right here. Not at all. Not even Brogdon is more of an offensive priority at certain times, right, when he's out there. So I think he's going to be getting kind of the easy matchup, right, whoever's left on the side on those switches. And he should
Give me Levine, baby. Give me Levine and that good defense.
Exactly. He should be able to take advantage of it. I mean, we got to remember, White was a guy, he handled it all for that year with the Spurs before he got traded. He was doing everything. Now, he's a great bench player. He's one of the better guys, especially for a playoff team with that defense he brings off, that scoring ability. But we kind of forget, this was a guy that started and averaged like 16-plus points a game. So I'm with you right here. I think he should contribute in this game. And yeah, no, Marcus Smart is huge.
Yeah, and the last thing I wanted to mention, we obviously talked about the 3-point shot. Derek White so far this year on the full season, averaging 7.5 shot attempts per game. Over 4.5 of them are from 3. So if we're going to have that, this is the best matchup for threes. Obviously, we need him to go in. But for a team that is second worst in percentage allowed to, I think we have a good matchup here to see Derek White kind of have one of his better games of the season here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think we both have plays in this late night hammer spot. If you guys are still here with us, 35 of you guys in here, we appreciate you joining us for our show today. 2 spots left for you guys. If you could smash that like button while we go into Stu's first NBA play for today.
Yep. We're going Paolo Banchero over 21.5 points, only minus 105 on MGM right now. It's getting some good numbers across the board right here. This is one of those guys. I haven't had the best luck. I feel like I bet on him right when he was cooling down a little bit, right? But he's had a little bit of a rougher month. But I now think we're finally starting to see him on the come up in the new year. He's obviously been playing very well these last couple of games. What I've especially liked to see is the 3-point usage has actually been going up a little bit more too. We've seen 5, 7, and 9 threes in his 3 games so far in the new year. Just adding that little stretch element is always good. But he should be able to absolutely demolish in this matchup against the Kings. We know Paolo's too great at free throws, right? This is a guy that loves getting to the line. He loves kind of forcing that pressure on the defense. And who better to foul out than Sabonis down there, baby? That guy loves racking up those 4 fouls. He doesn't always foul out, but he does that thing where he makes the coach think about it. He grabs the 2 first half and the coach is sitting over there like, do we pull him out? Do we not? Like, this is a matchup where he can definitely get to the line, which we know he loves to do, but he should have no problem in the paint, right? We know he scores up most of his points, despite the fact that 3-point element is always nice to have. We know he does most of his work in the paint, very crafty finisher, and he should just be able to take advantage of this high-paced matchup, high total. The Magic slow things down in a lot of these games they're playing, right? We know that they're not the fastest team in the world, but now they get a huge pace up stat in this one. And they played earlier this season. He obviously had a good game there. I believe he dropped 33 points in that one earlier this year. So very impressive performance. He's clearly comfortable in this matchup. And I just think, this is another game. I think he probably gets 6, 7 free throws, has a good game right here. And I think he could get that 30-point mark once again. So just a good matchup right here. I don't see anyone really giving him too many problems. I'm liking that he's finally looking better. He's finally hitting this mark. And guess what? This guy's hit like 20 points, and I believe I saw 73% of games so far this season. That's insane for a rookie to just come in and do what he's doing so far. He deserves to be in the All-Star conversation. I think he's going to show it tonight.
Yeah, no, and we just literally talked about the Magic in the usage that goes around, and Banchero is probably the only one. I'll give Franz Wagner like a very, very low second tier on that. It's like Banchero, second tier is Wagner, and then there's like 17 tiers before you actually get to another player in terms of trustworthiness on this Magic team. Obviously, I love Banchero. I'm sure he'll be a mainstay in my DFS lineups tonight. But I really liked what you said in terms of Banchero getting to the line, because that is exactly why I'm going to be back in De'Aaron Fox tonight. I love De'Aaron Fox. 12 potential assists so far this season, a little bit behind Sabonis. I believe Sabonis is like 12.7. He's at like 11.9. But I would literally was about to talk about his foul trouble, and I've been backing Sabonis a ton. You guys know, if you follow me over on our YouTube Play of the Day or my article plays, I've been backing Sabonis a ton. I've been loving his overs, but today I just can't. I can't, with the amount of drives that are going to be happening going to the paint. I can't trust Sabonis to not foul these guys, right? And Banchero has been fantastic at drawing fouls. I love that you mentioned that. Obviously, I think Wagner's coming back, the other Wagner, so you're going to have another big to mess with down there as well. And all those Magic bigs can actually dribble, right? They all have the ability to dribble and drive on you. Usually Sabonis is the most athletic big out there. You could be running Bol. I think, no, Bol is tomorrow. Bol is coming back tomorrow, but that's still big Wagner. You also have, who's the other one? Mo Bamba. You got Wendell Carter playing well right now as well. We could see a big night from him as they really struggle in the paint, but De'Aaron Fox has been so good. 30% usage rate so far this season, which is a lot higher than I expected with the amount of usage that goes to Domantas Sabonis. But what I really like is just the volume, right? Over 20 shots a game over his last 4 games. He's hit this in 4 of 6. We've been seeing assists pop off. We had a 9-assist game last one, consistently around 6, but De'Aaron Fox, man, 34, 25, 37. We're seeing him again. We talked about free throws. He's 93% this month, averaging 8 made per game. Like, everything you want here is adding up here for Fox. And I like what you said too. We were off camera, where Fox is, in every minute that Sabonis is off the floor, Fox is just going. He is going crazy. He is making the most of it. And obviously the coach is doing a fantastic job of staggering those guys and allowing both of them to get their numbers. Because like the start of the second quarter, when Sabonis is out there without Fox, Sabonis just goes nuts, dude. He just goes crazy because you always get nervous as a guy that was backing a lot of points, rebounds, assist lines. You're like, dude, Sabonis, what are you doing? And then all of a sudden, just boom, once he goes out, the numbers go crazy. So I think we're going to see enough minutes without Sabonis tonight. I really like the foul trouble bring up that you had. I think that was absolutely a fantastic piece.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's one of the things I've been looking for a lot more this year. I think it's very clear. A lot of the correlation in the current day NBA, you see the spike threes. Predicting spike threes is pretty hard. Obviously, play them against bad defenses, right? But I think the fouls is not a line that's really adjusted too often. And they're just teams that foul a lot more than other teams, right? So I think it's just kind of clear you're taking on a day by day. But I agree, Fox should be able to get to the line in this one, and same with Paolo on the other side. So I'm pumped for this game. A lot of great stuff. And yeah, I like both these bets. I'm definitely going to be telling you on Fox.
Love it, love it, love it. 32.5, minus 113 on FanDuel, minus 110 on DK there. I really like that. And yeah, one thing I do like is all of those late minute shots, right, are all coming from Fox, right? And the ability for Sabonis to pass out of there, I think, is really, really important for him to get those open threes. Because I've been watching way too many Kings games because they're always the late night hammer on these slates. So good spots for both here. Appreciate all you guys dropping your questions in here and all of this stuff, because I'm seeing Jay drop some knowledge for us. He's forwards versus the Kings, 17 plus field goal attempts, 18-2 to the over. That's obviously fantastic numbers. If you're backing Banchero, I think there is still a couple guys out for the Magic. I think they staggered their
I just know Bol. He's the one I know for sure is out. Okay. I don't know who else, but yeah.
I know Wagner's back, but I can't assume he's probably conditioned because I don't think you're with the team on those. There's just a lot of moving parts here again, but like I said, Banchero is like the only one that you really can rely on. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about some questions from Alan here. We have Vucevic facing off against that same Boston team, over 10.5 rebounds, and I'm assuming Dennis Schroeder. Points over 15.5. LeBron, I saw is questionable. I don't know if I see him missing here. It's just this is a matchup with a big time guy in Jokic. I feel like you'd want to, especially with how bad Denver's defense has been as of late. I think you could see a pretty big number from LeBron in this one. Assuming he does play, would you be playing 15.5 on Schroeder if he is playing LeBron?
No, 15.5 has to be the LeBron number, right? Is that the without LeBron? Maybe it's a little bit of a hedge. I would have to assume no LeBron. That's got to move down to at least 13 or 14, I would have to assume. But the thing for me is Schroeder's been playing really well. Like, I don't know. It feels like somebody killed him and replaced him with a totally different player. He's been completely efficient, and not only from the field goal, but from the 3-point line, right? He's been knocking down threes like nothing on very little attempts as well. So I'm just not the kind of bettor that can ask for that to continue. But if there's no LeBron, if we suddenly take away 30% usage, then I think Schroeder definitely becomes more interesting, because then I don't have to worry about him getting there on efficiency. I can have him get there on volume, which is really kind of what he's done for most of his career. So he's on a hot streak right now. I could see it continuing, but I never like to see the LeBron midday questionable. Exactly what Jay just said right there. Probable to questionable. I hate the midday change on the injury report. That's one of the golden signs. But LeBron, they're on a hot streak right now. They're playing good basketball. I couldn't imagine he'd want to sit out this one after how they've been playing. So it'll be one that has to probably come down to the end for me.
This happened a couple weeks ago when LeBron played. I exactly remember the exact slate because I was playing DFS, got the message at like 5:45 and completely pulled all the other dudes. Troy Brown is out too, which I guess could leave him more minutes. But one thing that's concerning for me is not even just the 3-point shots. He played Miami where he got 14 free throw attempts, right? Don't expect that, right? You don't expect that. And that blew up his number to 32 points. So that's a really good game. Obviously, you're dropping 32 on Miami. But then you got Atlanta and Sacramento. Like, what else could you ask for? Like, those are great matchups. And I feel like this one is not – I feel like if LeBron's out, KCP probably goes on to him, right? You probably got a lot of bodies to throw at him. You know, like he's probably the number one option at this point because Russ is coming off the bench. So, I mean, you're getting number one treatment versus number 3 or 4 treatment. I mean, it's the same thing we talk about with NFL wide receivers when they're thrown into the one doesn't usually mean or doesn't always mean production. I don't know, dude. Like the shot attempts have been way higher. You know, like you're seeing like 14 shot attempts for this guy. You're seeing even like assist numbers. Like you got to start thinking that they're going to have to send some of their better guys at Schroeder if he's going to continue to put up 27, 21, 32. Like
Isn't that crazy just to
Scary.
look at for a guy like Schroeder with how he's been playing? But yeah, that's a good point. The free throws was another one. I mean, I'm happy for him, honestly. This guy's
Yeah.
bounced around a lot. He got clowned a lot, too, for turning down the contract extension. So good for him. He's actually playing pretty good defense on the other side of the ball. So I think he's going to have a fine game. It's just 15.5 is a high number without knowing what's going on with LeBron right there. So if LeBron sits, I would be much more interested. But if he plays, which I think we both kind of are leaning towards he does, then probably a pass for me. And do you have any thoughts on Vucevic? I'm not really a rebound guy, as people in here probably figured out.
I like you, Vucevic rebounds. I do it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know a little bit more about Robert Williams, because if you're going to have Horford out there, that dude does not go in the paint much anymore. He's sitting in the corner shooting threes. I like when Vucevic is down there underneath the rim grabbing the ball. I've been backing him in those types of games. I think it was against the Hawks where he just killed his rebound line. I was on his rebounds there, just because you have Okongwu who can't shoot and you have Capella who can't shoot, right? Those are the types of matchups I usually back Vucevic, because he is not a typical post player, right? He's trying to be on the outside, but if he's forced, he'll grab all those rebounds, right? And I want to know if Robert Williams is playing, because he played like 15 minutes off the bench in a couple of these games. One of these games he's starting, right? He's got to be thrown into the starting lineup soon. So if I think it's based off of the starting lineup for me, if I see that we're going to get some Robert Williams, I'll probably be signing up for Vucevic rebounds.
Yeah, 100%. I think that makes sense right there. Obviously, Horford he's not the guy you want to play center rebounds against, because he's obviously great for his age, but he's going to sit out there on the 3-point line a decent amount, and we don't like that. So like that right there. And if anyone else has any more questions, make sure to drop them in the chat, whether you're here live joining us. We obviously appreciate that. Or if you're catching the replay a little bit later, we always respond, whether you hit us on Twitter, YouTube, all that stuff. So make sure to drop your questions, your bets, whatever you've got. Because like I said, only 6-game slate, but we've got a pretty good slate right here. I'm pretty happy, especially once we get some more injury clarity.
Yeah, we'd love to see all 40 of you guys still here with us, 40 minutes in. Happy to see that. We can go into our recap here. I think we got through all of the questions that have been up there so far. But let's go through our recap here, and maybe we have a couple more that pop our way here. So
sounds good. Yep, we started out in the college football realm, did some good talking about that, all the different spots we like. For me, I'm on AD Mitchell, over 43.5 receiving yards. DraftKings has the best number. I saw FanDuel was up to 47 already, so you want to make sure to line shop that right there. But I like that spot a lot. And then we're going over the NBA. We're going Paolo Banchero, over 21.5 points in a great high-speed matchup against the Kings.
Love it. Now be in that same game with De'Aaron Fox. 32.5 points, assists, minus 110 on FanDuel, but I had minus 115, so I'll roll minus 115. I'll also be going with Derek White, over 13.5 points, rebounds, minus 110, over on DraftKings as well. Allen, I love it. I will be on Giannis tonight. This is a fantastic matchup. I love him in the Garden. I have to force him into my DraftKings lineup. He's 12K though, bro. He's hurting me. He's hurting that bankroll there. But I mean, you kind of have to. The Knicks, they used to be so slow, and they're not slow anymore. I'm just really concerned with, like, it's a 1.5 point spread, right? And it just doesn't feel right. Like, I feel like the Bucks are going to take care of this one. They just have nobody to guard Giannis. There's really no one there. You can't put Randall on him. He's going to foul. You got Mitchell Robinson coming in. You got Hartenstein, right? Like, there's no one really there that can really truly match up with him. I mean, there's really no one in the league, but the Knicks are so good at keeping people out of the paint that you can't keep Giannis out of the paint, right? They're not used to a guy that's going to continually go. And I think that Drew, I think I'm wearing my Drew one right now. I'm repping Drew right now. So Drew coming back, hopefully plays like 25 minutes, opens up the floor a little bit. And I'm telling you, this is my game. Bobby P is going to show out again, dude. Bobby P shows out against the Knicks. A guy that you definitely should look at tonight. I got my dog coming up here. You see that? You came in here. First time joining up on the show. My boy Churro just came up in the stream here, I guess. I don't even know. He didn't even bark or nothing. He just wanted to come up here. So must have saw the light.
I was going to say, Churro likes Giannis tonight. That's some good news right there. Obviously, you want to hear that. My only concern, I guess, is this is another one of those spots where if you're a prize picks guy, I keep talking about this. Giannis free throws is probably what I like in this one too, because like you said, the Knicks are good at stopping people from getting to the paint. Robinson's just going to sit down there, and I think Randall, like you said, I don't know how they're going to like you can't have Mitchell Robinson guarding Giannis. That's just impossible, right? So it's going to have to be Randall, I think, to a certain extent, but that's just a tough matchup. You don't want him to foul out. So I think there's going to be a lot of doubles. I think he's going to try to force him to, foul him. Obviously, we know Mitchell Robinson loves fouling people down there as well. So one of those spots where I like his free throws a lot too.
Yeah, he's going to be living at the line. He's been shooting much, much better as of
Really
late
good.
as well. He's
Yep.
been doing very, very well. And Giannis puts up like crazy numbers against the Knicks. I don't know if it's just the MSG, if it's just there's really no matchup for him. And the thing is Randall, he's not even a post anymore. The dude shoots more threes than freaking Grayson Allen, dude. And Grayson Allen's only job is threes. Like, he is shooting an alarming amount of threes, like almost 8.5 a game, dude. Like, this dude is nuts, just chucking everything. So I just think that even pays more towards Giannis because that's your 4. Randall's your 4. And he, like, technically Giannis is the 4 too. So who they're going to guard him with, they have great guard defenders in terms of like Grimes and all these guards, but they don't have really a post defender,
There actually is one guy on the Knicks. I was just trying to think who's their backup 4 or 5. Jericho Sims. This guy's good. I'm just saying he's going to play like 6 minutes. So
yeah, there you go. That's all I needed to hear.
I'm just saying, if you trade Jericho Sims to like my Wizards or something, this guy's a good defender, hustle guy. And I mean, I don't know how they do this. The more I'm thinking about it, you can't put Grimes there, but you can't have Randall foul out because, like you said, what he's doing right now, he's their offensive kind of core. So I don't know. It's an interesting one. It's going to be interesting how they approach him. But I think the answer, no matter what, is you can't really approach Giannis. Like, he's just going to be Giannis.
My last thing I'll say about that over at the 43.5. Giannis normally plays like 32 to 34 minutes. We played 2 games against the Knicks so far, 37 to 39 minutes. And now we might have a limited Drew Holiday. How many minutes are they going to give this guy? Could he get 40 minutes? If Giannis gets 40 minutes, he will break every slate. He will annihilate the slate because all of his numbers are based off him playing 32 to 34 minutes. He plays 39 minutes tonight. The dude is going berserk on these guys. Like, his points per minute. I brought it up on I don't remember what show or when we did it, but dude, the amount of like DraftKings points per minute, this dude's like 1.5. Yeah. That's absurd, especially at a guy playing 33 to 34 minutes, 1.5 point spread on the road in MMSG, dude. Again, you can't take the under, but if you're thinking about an under, just pass because there's so many ways for him to get there in this spot, especially with all these dudes they're going to throw at him. I would love to see Hartenstein try to guard him.
Yeah, I don't know if
Hartenstein's going to touch for a body there.
This game. I think that would just be mean to him, right, to his pride. So.
I love this look, Terrence. Love that look quite a bit. That might be my long shot. 5 threes for Randall plus 500. Definitely a spot I would won't mind that. If you can find attempts over 10.5, I take that too. So I do not believe so. I believe Drummond is the straight direct backup to Vucevic. So any minute Vucevic ain't out there, Drummond's out there. If Vucevic gets in foul trouble, Drummond might have like 30 and 20 because the dude's insane when he's actually playing. I just don't get, like, give him 15 minutes, dude. Give him 15 minutes and see what he does. The dude is unreal in the minutes he does actually get to play. All right, recap is good. All of us are good. Stu, 50 minutes. We still got 40 people in here. What do you got for the people before we head out today?
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously, I've got some college football content already out. The Prize Picks Prop Show with FTN. I hopped on Mean Streets with Chris Meany a little bit earlier as well. So just tons of good stuff for college football. Now we're over here. And then NBA slate's pretty good. I know I'm going to have more stuff. I'm disappointed nobody asked me about the Wizards money line, the lock of the year tonight. So, just throwing that out there. It may or may not be the lock of the year. All I'll say is when I opened up the app this morning and I saw the Pelicans were like -1 against the Wizards, I was like, what is going without Bradley Beal? This should be like 5 or 6. And you guys know, whenever the NFL does something or NBA does something like this, it's a Wizards day. I don't know. We played terribly against the Thunder. I'm sure our coach was physically assaulting players in the locker room to get them motivated. So they're going to come out strong. Wizards money line, 500 unit play of the year.
Dude, I don't even know if terrible. That's not even a strong enough word. That was the worst.
Yeah.
That was the worst game I've ever seen a team play. And they were playing a team that had no one over 6'7", dude. Yeah. They were rolling. They could have put Giddey at the center. Like that was the same size as their big. Like they gave up a 14-4 run. They gave up a 16-4 run in the same quarter. In the second quarter, how does that even happen? And then separate 6-0 runs and 8-0 runs in the first. I looked at the score, and I had Chris Stapps. I had the tail play that you had, and I'm sitting there. What the fuck, dude? And Chris Stapps didn't do anything. He didn't do anything in that first quarter. It didn't make any sense.
It legitimately looked like the Wizards were trying to lose, or like someone had the craziest party in the world last night and they were just all extremely hungover. Like it was just a pathetic effort. But we know this professional sports, that does happen. It's a long season and we do tend to see these guys kind of come back out. Their coach gives them a nice, yelling. Maybe someone's mom calls them and like, hey, I watched you, Chris Stapps, and you were fucking terrible. So how about we get to it? I had you in a parlay, and maybe he gets out there and plays a little bit stronger for his mom's parlay tonight. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, hopefully it wakes him up. Hopefully we see something happen there. Hopefully we see some Jordan Goodwin time, huh? Hopefully we see some Goodwin time.
I like Goodwin. I'm a DeLon Wright fan for life now, though. So I'm going to keep betting those DeLon steals. We'll see what happens today. But, I'm a DeLon Wright guy.
Love it. Well, hopefully both our teams can get the wins today. Hopefully Pastor Prop can come back with a sweep for you guys as well. So best of luck on all your bets tonight, guys. Obviously, college football championship tonight, which would be awesome. And obviously, we have a ton of NBA that we've been talking about here. So if you guys have any more questions, drop them in the comments. We'll get to them after the show. And we appreciate all you guys staying with us for the full 50-minute show. We'll be back on Wednesday giving you guys some more picks. So have a good one, guys. Best of luck. And, let's crush the slate.